Hey there, let's talk about the job search. You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling for hours, firing off applications into what feels like a black hole. It's draining. Well, what if I told you there's a better way? Today, we're going to dive into a strategy that flips that whole frustrating process upside down. It's called the 80-20 job search flip. And just so you know, all the amazing tips and strategies we're about to get into come straight from the pros, the career coaching experts over at swisscareer.coach. I mean, let's just call it what it is. The job search can be, well, it can be a real grind, can it? It feels confusing, totally overwhelming, and just so much work. You pour your heart into that perfect cover letter. You tweak your resume until it's just right, and then you send it out. And crickets. That silence is just brutal. It's a cycle that can really wear you down. So, why is it so frustrating? Well, here's the kicker. The way most people do it, just spending hours and hours scrolling through job boards, applying kind of randomly to anything that looks okay, it's honestly a massive waste. You're burning through your two most precious resources, your time and your energy. But what if there was a way to completely flip that script? This is the big idea, the secret sauce, really. Imagine this. Instead of 80% of your time being spent just clicking apply online, you slash that down to just 20%. So what do you do with that other massive 80% chunk of your time? You invest it where it actually counts, talking to real, live human beings. Let's dig into how you can make this shift and, actually start seeing results. So this whole strategy is built on a really cool idea you've probably heard of called the 80-20 rule, or Pareto's principle. The gist is simple. In pretty much anything, about 80% of your results are going to come from just 20% of your actions. And when it comes to the job search, the big aha moment is when you realize that the best jobs, the real game changers, come from being proactive and connecting with people, not just sitting back and applying. All right, take a look at this. This is what the typical job search looks like for most people. See that huge slice of the pie? 80%. That's how much time gets poured into online applications. You're basically throwing your resume into a digital pile with hundreds, maybe even thousands of other people. It's the least effective thing you can do, but it's where we spend almost all our time. Crazy, right? But now, check this out. This is the flip. This is the effective job search. Notice how the chart is completely reversed. Now, a whopping 80% of your energy goes into networking and connecting with people. This is your key to unlocking what's called the hidden job market. We're talking about those amazing jobs that get filled before anyone even posts an ad for them. And that leaves you with a nice, focused 20% of your time for some really smart, strategic online work. Okay, so let's dive into that 20%. How do we make every single minute you spend online count? The mission here is not to do more online work. No way. The goal is to be super strategic, to get the biggest possible bang for your buck, minimizing your time while getting maximum impact. It breaks down into a simple 3-step game plan. First, you're going to put your search on autopilot, so the best jobs actually come find you. Second, you get really, really smart about your resume. And third, you build a killer online profile that basically acts like a magnet for recruiters. So let's talk about automation. Seriously, stop manually searching every single day. It's a time suck. Instead, go to the websites of companies you'd love to work for. Go to the big job sites and set up search agents. Let the technology do the heavy lifting. The perfect job postings will land right in your inbox, which frees up all that precious time for the stuff that really matters, talking to people. All right, building your profile. This is where you really get to turn the tables on the whole process. You need to understand that hiring managers and recruiters are constantly on sites like LinkedIn, hunting for great candidates, and they're often looking for people for jobs that haven't even been announced yet. So your profile can't just be a boring digital resume. Think of it more like a lighthouse, packed with the right keywords, guiding them straight to you. Okay, now for the main event, your 80%, the human connection. This, my friends, is where the real magic happens. This is your ticket to that hidden job market we talked about. And it all comes down to one thing: building real relationships to find out about amazing opportunities that, frankly, the general public will never even hear about. Now, I really want this to sink in. Networking is not about going up to someone and awkwardly asking, "Can you get me a job?" No. It's about building genuine connections that get you in the loop, that let you hear about incredible roles before they ever hit the job boards. This is, without a doubt, your biggest superpower in the job market. So where do you point all this networking energy? Well, think of it as a four-pronged approach. First, you tap into the network you already have. Second, we start reaching out to new people, but not to ask for a job, to ask for advice and information. Big difference. Third, you work on making yourself more visible so people start coming to you. And fourth, you team up with the right recruiters who can really go to bat for you. So how exactly do you get on people's radar? Simple. You start acting like the expert you are. Start a blog about your industry, offer to speak at a local conference, volunteer for a project that showcases your skills. These things scream initiative and expertise, and they make it incredibly easy for the right people to discover you. And a quick word on recruiters, because not all are created equal. You got contingency recruiters. Think of them as playing a numbers game. They're trying to fill a lot of roles fast. Then you have retained recruiters. These guys are more like talent scouts for a specific important role. They're way more invested in finding the absolute perfect person. Knowing who you're talking to is key to finding a great partner in your search. All right, let's bring it all together. You can have the best strategy in the world, but without a system, it's all just good intentions. You've got to treat your job search, well, like a job. That means you need to be organized, you need to be dedicated, and you absolutely need a system to keep track of everything. So what kind of time commitment are we talking about here? Let's be realistic. If you're unemployed, think of this as your full-time job, about 40 hours a week. If you're already working, you need to carve out a solid, focused 5 to 10 hours each week. I promise you, that consistent effort is what makes all the difference. And a simple tracking system, it doesn't have to be fancy, is going to be your absolute best friend. This is your command center. It's where you keep track of who you talked to, what you talked about, and, most importantly, what your next move is. This little dashboard makes sure nothing falls through the cracks and no opportunity is ever wasted. Look, at the end of the day, this whole 80-20 flip is about so much more than just being efficient. It's a total mindset shift. It's about turning the job search from this dreaded, frustrating chore into an exciting journey. A journey of discovering what's out there and, really, of recognizing just how much you have to offer. So we've laid out the entire game plan today. But if you want the checklists, the email templates, all the nitty-gritty details to really put this into action, you've got to head over to swisscareer.coach. They've got everything you need. So really, there's just one question left to ask yourself. Are you ready to stop endlessly applying and start genuinely connecting? Thanks for joining me.